All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Bad Weather Friend by Dean Koontz. I know on the thumbnail I was doing this. A thumbs down. That was more of a clickbait thing. Because, the book wasn't bad. It just wasn't my favorite Dean Koontz book I've ever read. And for a couple of reasons, which we'll get into. Because I've been reading a lot of Dean Koontz books lately. And I've been on there was a string of awesome Dean Koontz books. And I don't know why. This is one of his latest ones. And it just didn't land for me. The cover first. Let's talk about the cover. Because, I love graphic design and cover illustration. This is pretty good. It's bold. I like it. It's cool. I like the figure here. I like the cover. Thomas and Mercer as the publisher. Now, Thomas and Mercer is the publishing arm of Amazon.com. And one of the things that I've noticed about these Thomas and Mercer books, these Dean Koontz books, is they've turned on their orphan control, which... it makes the typesetting. The typesetter needs to just ditch the orphan control. It's stupid. If you know Microsoft Word, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to belabor it. I've already fucking hammered that publisher on the several Dean Koontz books. But anyway, let's not get bogged down in that horse shit. Let's get to the book. This book was a little too silly for me. That's the thing, that's the one reason I didn't like it. I mean, humor is a hard thing to write, and one of my favorite humor novels of all time that's a horror novel was Tick-Tock by Dean Koontz. Blew me away. I was laughing my ass off. I could tell he was going for humor again in this one, and it just didn't land. I just wasn't... Maybe it's a me problem. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood. Some parts of it were okay, but it just seemed like every character was trying to crack wise all the time, like they were in some sort of Avengers movie. But anyway... Yeah, everybody has a weird name. That's another thing. Everybody's got just a bizarro name that doesn't seem to fit the real world. Like Benny Catspaw, or Spike, or Mordred Merrick, or Rudyard Bromley, or Cosimus Springbot, etc., etc., etc. Kind of took me out of the story a little bit. Although the story did have its high points and it was amusing. And I did get what he was going for. Anyway, Benny Catspaw is our main character. He's a very nice guy. Too nice, in fact. Spectacularly nice. Perpetual sunny disposition. Just nothing gets him down. However, in this book, there are some flashbacks to his childhood where we can see that not everything was sunny in his childhood. That's kind of a side plot, a side quest to the main story. When we meet him at the beginning of this book, he's an adult, and he's just got fired from his job as a realtor. His fiancée has just dumped him, and his favorite chair has been destroyed. But he's not paranoid about any of this. He's just like, hey man, stuff happens. I'm a nice guy. Things happen. But it does seem the universe is out to pretty much him over. But he's just kind of like, whatever. People are like trying to console him. And he's like, it's okay. Don't worry about me. I'm a nice guy. Everything will be okay. But there's something boiling underneath. Well, what happens is, and this is not spoilery. This is on the back jacking. He receives an inheritance from his great uncle or something like that. Someone he's never met who has a weird name. And anyway, it's a crate, a massive crate, a very heavy crate, just is dropped off by like FedEx. And we even get a side plot where we see the FedEx guys hauling this crate around going, what is in here? Anyway, that's the surprise of the story. But it's also, here, I'm not spoiling it. Inside the crate is a a video message that says, all will be well in time. And, well, I mean, Benny gets the crate and he just refuses to open it for a while. Even his friends are like, hey, there's this big crate in your garage. Why haven't you opened it? I don't really care about it. And finally, they talk him into opening it. And inside is this video message. All will be well in time. But also in the crate is a 7-foot-tall, self-described bad weather friend named Spike, an actual person who was in the crate all that time. FedEx hauled it, and it's heavy because he's like 7 feet tall, 300-something pounds, and he's just like a badass. And this is where the comedy ensues. Well, the comedy starts throughout the whole thing. But his bad weather friend is on a mission. This dude that comes out of the crate is on a mission to help nice guys. He will take care of all of Benny's problems and all of Benny's enemies. Well, because Benny is a nice guy. And people have been walking all over him. And Spike has arrived in the crate to right all wrongs and just people up for Benny. And Benny's like, I don't need people up for me. But anyway, this is it's a cool concept. I really like this. I'll read the final paragraph on the back. In the company of Spike and a fascinated young waitress / private investigator in training named Harper, Benny plunges into a perilous, high-speed adventure, the likes of which never would have crossed the mind of a decent guy like him. So yeah, take a nice guy who gets kind of pushed around a lot, but doesn't really give a shit that he's getting pushed around. Take that guy, give him access to the most badass human on the planet that is determined to avenge all wrongs that have done in Benny's name. It's funny. I mean, I hope I'm selling the book. Parts of it were funny. Mostly I was just kind of rolling my eyes at it. But at the same time, it was engaging, if this makes sense. It's like I'm very conflicted. Like my thumbs down on the thumbnail. Hey, I just realized thumbs down on the thumbnail. Did I just coin a phrase? Anyway, probably not. See, this is the kind of humor that's in the book that doesn't land. A lot of it does land. I mean, I did laugh at a few of the scenes, but it was more of like a supernatural mystery, like kind of like a setup. Like wouldn't it be fun if this was the setup? A nice guy who has a supernatural robotic Frankenstein-like dude that follows him around and kind of like, anyway. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Most Dean Koontz novels get like 9s or 10s out of 10s. They're just fantastic. I like the more serious thriller sides of Dean Koontz than the humor thriller sides of Dean Koontz. I just do, with the exception of that book TikTok, which that's just sheer perfection. But this one, it was trying and it landed mostly for me, but just not quite. So that is my review of The Bad Weather Friend.